Welcome to my channel. Today we are embarking on a truly creative journey. We'll take a simple apple tree branch, an ordinary piece of nature, and transform it into a stunning, elegant coffee mug. It's not just crafting, it's storytelling through woodworking. Earlier this fall, I had to severely prune my struggling backyard apple tree. While sorting through the branches, I noticed a few that stood out, too beautiful to discard. That's when inspiration struck. Why not turn one into something special? Note that we are working with green wood, freshly cut and full of moisture. We'll be using a lathe for a technique known as green wood turning. It's an exciting process that requires few basic skills and techniques. We'll start by mounting the branch securely on the lathe's drive centers. Ensuring it's perfectly centered, this step is crucial for a smooth and balanced turning process. The rough turning begins with balancing the piece. Since the branch is far from a perfect cylinder, our first goal is to shape it into a relatively balanced cylinder to work with. We'll start with the lathe set to a slower speed. This ensures better control and safety while we balance the piece and shape it into a smooth cylindrical form. You can see the piece gradually taking shape, getting closer and closer to the desired cylindrical form. One key thing to remember during rough turning is patience. It's important to cut small chunks at a time, taking it slow and mindful to ensure precision and control. Remember to keep the tool holder as close to the piece as possible. That is for more effective cutting and better control. At this stage, you will want to turn the piece into a completely uniform cylinder. Use a caliper if you need it. It will help ensure a more precise and consistent shape. Once we have a perfect cylinder, we'll use a miter saw to create a clean right angle on both ends. Then we'll cut the cylinder in half to make two pieces for potential more future coffee mugs. Now it's time to screw on the 3-inch steel faceplate to the piece. I personally prefer using a faceplate because it provides a much stronger and more stable connection to the lathe. Once the piece is mounted on the lathe with the faceplate and ready to be turned again, it's important to balance it one more time. Mounting on the faceplate can cause the piece to become slightly off balance, especially on the side farthest away from the faceplate. Now begins the process of carving out the mouth of the cup. We'll hollow out the inside of the piece, creating the perfect space to fit the steel metal cup insert. Continuously measure the depth of the cavity during the hollowing process to avoid overcarving and maintain precision. The hollowing out process should be done in small increments. It's a delicate task that requires patience and careful attention to details to achieve the perfect result and avoiding damage to the part. Notice the steam rising from the cavity. That's caused by the heated Forstner bit coming into contact with the water content inside the apple wood. It's a fascinating part of work with greenwood. You might be wondering what I am using as an insert for this cup. Well, a while back I picked up a bunch of coffee mugs on sale from Michael's, and I've been using them ever since. Here's how I carefully remove the steel part of the mug to use in my project. The Forstner bit creates a cylindrical cavity inside the piece, but the opening needs to be wider to fit the steel cup. That's why I'll be manually expanding the cavity. Again, this step should be done methodically. Carve out small portions at a time to avoid overcarving. Now let's mount the steel cup into the cavity. The edge of the piece needs to be adjusted to fit the steel cup snugly. So you'll need to carefully hammer it into place. To ensure everything stays secure, I have created a wooden lid that fits into the cup, allowing me to mount the entire piece back onto the lathe. Next, we'll turn the cup into its final shape. The top should match the size of the steel cup's rim, while the bottom needs to be shaped to fit comfortably in an adult hand. The height of the cup is determined by the steel cup's height, while it is up to you how high you want to cut. Make sure to leave at least a quarter-inch allowance at the bottom of the steel cup. Please keep in mind that significant deformation, cracks, and indentations are to be expected as the wood dries. These natural changes are part of the process and can be embraced as a unique feature to enhance the final design. As you know, the wood is still soaking wet and needs to dry. To speed up the drying process, place the cup on an air vent for a few days until it reaches a reasonable level of dryness. A few days have passed, and the apple wood is now fully dry. It's natural to see cracks and indentations on the coffee mug wood during this process. We're going to embrace these drawing effects of the green wood to create a beautiful design that complements and incorporates these characteristics. Next, we'll use a pencil to sketch the proximate marking areas, which will later be carved out using the Dremel tool. You'll need to fill the gap created by the big crack in the wood. I suggest using a darker colored wood for this purpose. I chose a piece of mahogany and shaped it to roughly match the gap. Then I used a knife to carefully fit it into the place. Finally, I secured it with super glue to ensure a strong bond. Use a brown marker to color the inside of the carved channels, creating a visual tile effect on the coffee mug. To prepare for sanding and the final finish, apply masking tape to the steel rim of the cup. Sand the surface thoroughly, then spray with the lacquer multiple times. Once the lacquer is dry, sand it again with the fine sandpaper and repeat the process several times to achieve a smooth, polished finish. Here's the final transformation, a beautiful natural wood color. Many people appreciate the raw, natural appearance of the wood. Personally, I prefer to stain the wood slightly darker to enhance its hidden patterns and bring out its character. To demonstrate this, I used another piece of apple wood to create a similar cup, incorporating a few additional carved patterns and staining it brown for a richer look. Thank you for joining me on this transformation journey. Together, we turn an apple tree branch into a beautiful coffee mug. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. To support me and see more of these creative projects, please subscribe to my channel. Your support means a lot. Thank you.